What if I told you the person you see in the mirror is not you? The real you was erased long ago, and something else, something you never chose, took over. By the time you finish this video, you will question every decision you've ever made, and maybe for the first time you'll start waking up. From the moment you took your first breath, the world started shaping you. You weren't given a choice. You were born into a system, surrounded by rules, expectations, and beliefs that weren't your own. Before you could even think for yourself, your mind was being molded by your parents, by your teachers, by society. Think about it. How much of what you believe is truly yours? Did you choose your fears, or were they planted in you? Did you decide what success means, or did someone else define it for you? Every time you hesitated, doubted yourself, or felt trapped, was that really you speaking? Or the version of you that was created to fit into this world? Since childhood, you've been handed invisible rules. What to do, how to behave, what to strive for. Be a good student, get a respectable job, don't question too much. Follow the path everyone else follows. But did you ever stop and ask why? Who decided this path? Who benefits from you staying on it? And yet, deep inside, there's a voice, a faint whisper, a part of you that remembers something different. A time before fear, before doubt, before limits. A time when you felt free. Maybe you were too young to understand it, but that version of you was real. That was the true you. The version that wasn't afraid to explore, to dream without permission, to exist without explanation. But over time, that version of you was buried, covered by layers of expectations, rules, and self-doubt. Slowly, without you even noticing, the world erased that version of you and replaced it with someone more acceptable, more obedient, more predictable. So now, the real question isn't just who are you? The real question is, who's been living your life in your place? Because if you've ever felt lost, if you've ever questioned your identity, if you've ever looked in the mirror and felt like something was missing, there's a reason. And today we're going to expose it, the illusion of self. Have you ever stopped to wonder, who am I really? Not your name, not your job, not the roles you play in society, but the core you. Here's something most people never realize. The you that you believe in is an illusion. It's not fixed, not permanent. It's a product of everything you've been exposed to. Your name, given to you at birth. Your beliefs, installed by your parents, school and culture. Your fears, programmed into you by past experiences, pain and expectations. Think about this. If you had been born in a different country, raised by different parents, and taught a different language, would you still be the same person? Of course not. Because everything you think you are is just a collection of influences. But here's the scariest part. You don't even remember when the real you disappeared. There was a time when you were a child, when you were completely free. You didn't care what people thought. You expressed yourself fully. You didn't hold back your emotions. You laughed when you felt happy. You cried when you felt sad. There was no filter, no shame, no self-doubt. But then something happened. Over time, society shaped you. Parents told you to behave. Teachers told you to follow the rules. Friends told you to fit in. You learned that to be accepted, you had to act a certain way, speak a certain way, and become someone that wasn't truly you. This was the beginning of your silent erasure. The silent erasure. Think back to when you were a child. Do you remember a time when you didn't question yourself? when you weren't afraid to try new things, when you didn't hold yourself back because of what others might think. That version of you still exists. It hasn't died. It hasn't disappeared. It's just been buried under layers of expectations, responsibilities, and self-doubt. Every time you were told you can't do that, another piece of you was erased. Every time you were told that's not how the world works, another part of you faded. Every time you were made to feel small, unimportant, or incapable, the real you got quieter and quieter. And now, most people are just ghosts of who they were meant to be. They live their entire lives playing a role, following a script, never realizing they have been programmed to think, act, and feel in ways that were never truly theirs. But the real you, it's still there. It's waiting. But unless you wake up now, you may never find it again. Who is controlling you now? So if the real you was erased, who's been living your life? Not you. Not the free, fearless, authentic version of you. Instead, you've become a version of yourself that was carefully crafted by the world around you. A version that obeys. A version that conforms. A version that follows invisible rules without question. Think about it. Why do you dress the way you do? Why do you want the things you want? Why do you act a certain way around some people but completely different around others? Because you were taught to. From the moment you were born, you were given a role to play, a personality to adopt, a belief system to follow. And without realizing it, you became a character in a script you never wrote. But the truth is, you were never meant to live this way. You were meant to be free. To think for yourself, to live on your own terms. And the only reason you don't? Because you were never given permission. But here's the thing, you don't need permission, you just need to wake up. Why this matters right now? Most people will live their entire lives without ever realizing this. They will wake up every day, go to work, follow their routines, and never question if they are actually in control. But you're different. You're here. You're asking questions. And that means you're already waking up. But waking up is not enough. You can't just realize the truth and go back to living the same way. You have to reclaim what was stolen from you. Because if you don't, you will continue living as someone you were never meant to be. And one day, when it's too late, you'll look back and realize you never truly lived. But today, you have a choice. Right now, you can take back control. Right now, you can start the journey to becoming your real self again. But the question is, will you? The next step. If this video made you rethink everything you thought you knew about yourself, that's a good sign. It means you're already waking up. But waking up is just the first step. The real challenge is what comes next. You see, most people will feel this moment of clarity and then go right back to sleep. They'll distract themselves with entertainment, routine, and the noise of the world. Their minds will convince them that it's easier to stay the way they are. But deep down, something will feel off. And that's because once you see the truth, you can never truly unsee it. Right now you have two choices. You can ignore what you've just learned, push it aside, and continue living the way you always have. Or you can take control. You can start questioning everything, breaking free from the mental prison that's been built around you, and finally become who you were meant to be. And here's the thing. This journey isn't easy. Most people never take it. But if you're still watching, if something inside you is pulling you toward the truth, then you're not like most people. You're already different. You're already searching for something more. and that's exactly why you need to keep going. In my next video, I'm going to show you how to break free from this illusion completely, how to strip away the layers of programming that have controlled you for so long, how to uncover the real you that's been buried deep inside. But here's the catch. Once you start this journey, there's no turning back. Once you begin to wake up, you can never go back to the way things were, and that's a good thing. So if you're ready to take the next step, if you're ready to see just how deep this goes, hit that subscribe button right now, because the next video is going to change the way you see yourself forever.